All right, we are back. Yeah, sorry about the little delay there. The name of the game is Voluhin, Winds of War. You're with your favorite nerds, the Roll for Mischief crew, and it's another Tuesday afternoon, and we're ready to get rolling here. So we're at the start of a new episode right now, being dungeon mastered by our good friend Drew Murray. So as with the beginning of any adventure, as we do our group therapy, we also want to have a couple of words about what our characters have been doing in the interim amount of time. So, Drew, how much time would you say our characters are experiencing between the episodes?
I believe we discussed it was like 2 to 3 months.
Oh,
It was,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So enough time to get some extra training in, do some other stuff. So feel free in this sort of downtime wrap up part of group therapy to add in stuff that could have taken up that time. Like you guys have been living lives.
for real.
Yeah, well, I know Eridu has been dealing with some bureaucracy, so it took. We probably spent a good chunk of time in the Silent Seas. Uh, as long as for Eridu to have taught Alton's youngest sister, whose name is accessible to me somewhere.
I think it's Sarah. Hold on.
It's
I think it's
Serafina.
the one that, yeah, Seraphina, but she goes by Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah. He taught her Elven in pretty good detail, so I'd say she's pretty fluent in that language now. Um, when he went back to the Twin Harbors, he would have tried to reconnect with the Druids and work on spending some of his, still substantial amount of money, uh, trying to get land and build like a safe haven for these Druids where they aren't living in a sewer, trying to pull the Feywild to the mortal plane, which has proven to be considerably difficult given how much is happening in the world right now and how difficult it is to secure land close to the river. So that's been a big problem with him. Also, he's got some issues in the harbors itself with getting on the wrong side of Garth, and it's just life for him getting back into the flow of Twin Harbors has been difficult after spending all this time in the Silent Seas around a community of people that are not caught up in this tense bureaucracy. So that's about where he's at.
Cool. What about Alton? What has Alton
Okay,
been?
so Alton has decided to spend a lot of his time with Sorgal, the ancient bronze dragon. Um, he is learning from her a lot. He is uh, um, hearing stories and tales and uh, kind of generally inquiring about dragons as a whole. And he's taken upon to learn him about them. Uh, Eridu had, unbeknownst to Alton, um, because Alton did need his armor at the Silent Sea, taken Alton's Linothrix, his armor, to the blacksmith and had him stud it with some mithril studs and kind of reinforcing it a little bit better. And so, kind of as a result, unbeknownst to Eridu, and kind of respect and thanks for Eridu, he worked with Sorgal and his sister to learn Elvish. So, over that 2 month period of intense study about dragons and the Elvish language, that's what he spent most of his time doing. He has now he has a very deep knowledge of dragons and has learned Elvish.
Hell yeah. So,
I-
yeah, Eigner, I'm afraid, has been going through kind of a rough time in the past 2 3 months because the all of the events in the Silent Sea really did a lot to give him confidence in his adventuring crew. It certainly brought him closer together to both Alton, Eridu, and On. I think it really brought them all closer together. But still, even though he had that experience, there's this kind of paradoxical thing where there are deep-seated things that Egner feels like he can't tell to his party members. One of them is his concern about Zarkon, who is trapped inside the ring. He's a personal demon that Egner took on willingly, and he's been kind of in the back burner, just kind of like really in the shadows behind all of this. But Egner knows that he could resurface at any moment and cause a lot of issues. And then also there's still the fact that Egner is a concealed spider monster, thanks to the very same ring that Zarkon is residing within. And Egner's been trying to find answers there. He's been exploring a lot by himself in the Underdark, trying to make contact with Drow, and trying to find anything that would resemble a Drow holy site. Because maybe, for whatever reason, Agner's walk back to divinity was meant to be through a spider god. He's kind of open to anything at this point. On the more mechanical side of it, Agner's been spending a lot of time with the crotchety old hermit in the mountains named Merrick Oxhead. He's a grumpy old gnome. Think of him as like a drunk Yoda, like a really surly drunk Yoda. And he's been spending a lot of time training with him, so much so that Merrick has showed him some very interesting new maneuvers that will hopefully come in handy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So kick it off, Drew.
We are going to begin in an unorthodox style. I will say that we will begin in Twin Harbors, as we normally do. But to begin with, Eigner is kneeling. He is in a stone room. It is gigantic. Just at the periphery of his vision, he can see this bulky shape. He can see the outlines of a draconic form. There is a brazier burning white hot in the distance, casting just enough light to see by. In front of him are the broken, bloody bodies of Alton, Eridu, On, and there are two other bodies that he can't quite make out. A booming voice echoes throughout the stone room and asks, "Are you sure? Once done, this cannot be undone." Eigner responds yes, emphatically. And the next thing he realizes is that he's now in bed, but he hasn't just woken up. He is sat up, he is fully dressed. The day has dawned. And he remembers something about not being able to remember, but being able to change things. But that is all he has memory of.
Wow.
It is daytime. It is in Twin Harbors. Things have been moving along these past few months.
Yeah.
While
Damn. Okay, let's keep it going. Twin Harbor, things moving along.
Yeah. as you have been moving along and doing your own sort of training elsewhere and trying to sort out lands and dealing with bureaucracy, that bureaucracy has been tightening, and a figure keeps coming to the fore, but only through your own noticing and investigations, and that is Garth. He seems to be seeping into everything, or rather, when you push against any bureaucratic barriers, he just seems to ooze from between the cracks as an obstacle that you are unable to remove. However, there is some degree of normalcy in Twin Harbors. There's a heightened tension, to be sure. There have also been a reduction in trade caravans coming through. There seems to be a movement south towards the open sea. Lots of trade caravans have been rumored to be moving there. For what purpose? No one knows. There's nothing but tall cliffs to the south of both continents, Twin Harbors being the best place to access the sea. So it's unclear what's going on, but that's been something that occasionally you'll get from people like Alan, letting you know these things. The main thing that seems to be happening is a shift in public focus. Most people seem to be very upset with the idea of more and more of the population falling foul to this drug that has been taking hold. So many people now have lost family members and friends, found them either in a puddle on the streets, or they've found them locked up in the stocks, or they've not found them at all. There has been another development. A strange, pale person by the name of Sheniel. He's started going door to door, and this has worried Emily somewhat, because he's going door to door and no one says what he's talking to them about. No one really remembers talking to him. Most accounts suggest that he's an Azamar, that he's from Elysium, but no one can quite remember talking to him, despite others seeing them talking to him. So we will begin in earnest, where the three of you have met up again to discuss recent happenings, recent tidings, and just to catch up, because some of you have been away for a while, and you realize now that you are all in Twin Harbors all at the same time. So we'll open up in the bar. I forget Ellen's bar's name.
The Cornerstone.
The Cornerstone, yeah.
Cornerstone. Then we shall begin in the Cornerstone.
Very well.
All right.
We're in the Cornerstone. Upon seeing his comrades, Eigner will happily take some gold out of the purse and say, "Alan, around for my friends. It has been too long."
How does Alan look?
Haggard. He is looking thinner than he should, but he is moving around with a bit of zip and fervor. But he's got massive bags under his eyes. His hair is matted with sweat. It looks like he hasn't bathed in a while.
I do not remember. Was Eridu privy to the knowledge that he had lost family in the ensuing riot after the assassination of the person?
The ambassador.
I'll assume that information probably would have got to him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then I'm gonna, seeing Alan looking so haggard. Alan, have you had any luck finding your family, those you've lost?
Thank you for asking. I'm afraid nothing. Nothing that's brought joy to me. No.
I am sorry. If there's ever anything that we can do for you, just feel free to ask. We're always here, and you have been good to us, Alan.
Thank you. Nose to the grindstone, you know?
Loss is a difficult thing, Alan. It is okay to feel, if that is what you need to do.
Refill? Refill?
Of course, yes. A round, please.
Oh, of course, yeah. And he goes away and fetches your first round.
I have not seen either of you around the city for some time. I know, Alton, that you stayed with your family for a while, but Eigner, where have you been?
Places? Training, mostly. Training. Very hard. I have to come into this city every now and again to do a random job here and there, you know. Must make money somehow. And I was so pleased to see you when I walked into the Cornerstone on this day.
It was as if we had planned it.
Somehow!
And Alden, how was your time with your family?
Good. New perspective allows me to change how I've interacted with them. It's much better than it used to be.
That's good to hear.
Good, yes. Family is an important thing to have. Keep them close.
Eigner will start looking around kind of suspiciously, like maybe checking to see if Alan is around. And he leans in close and he says, I must admit, I've not spent as much time in Twin Harbor recently as the two of you have. Does something feel different? I'm unsettled, and I can't tell the reason why.
The city has seemed to change quite a bit, although things are settling down a bit now. Yes, I agree, though. Something is different. It is not the city that I have lived in for so long.
Looking around, you can see that the Cornerstone is absent its usual rotund patron, but also quite a few others. The Cornerstone, despite Alan being run ragged and tired and dashing about from place to place, you could name all of the people in here. You reckon there's maybe 8? It's quietened down a lot.
I'm not sure if the population itself is diminishing. I haven't seen a lot of people leave, but traffic on the street is diminished. My clients have come less and less frequently.
I on my walk here, I saw some very disturbing things. People just being left in the street. It's like trash. I don't know where this drug came from, but it has wreaked havoc on this city.
Yes. And the druids are still pretty set on their doings with this drug. It disturbs me, and I've tried to show them there are other ways.
They seem a little unhinged to me, if you want my opinion.
People have gone through difficult times, and I can't judge them on the things they've seen and the things that they do in response to that.
Domini raises her head and her ears perk up, and into the tavern walks the figure of Shaniel. He is very slim. He seems to walk with a strange lack of bounce, as if he's very carefully placing his feet with every step, but he's quick. He's slender, he's pale, he's got a shock of white hair within a mat of blonde.
Dude, it's Slender Man. Seriously, though.
And
Just playing.
he approaches the bar. He scans his head around. And then he seems to push away from the bar and start to move towards you all. And then Lauren bursts in through the door. There is no sign of Sheniel whatsoever. She bursts in, wanders up to the bar, and pulls herself up. Has a quiet word with Alan.
Wait,
There's
what? Wait, so, like, from our perception, Sheniel goes to the bar, then starts walking toward us, and then as soon as, like, Lauren kicks open the door, it's like our eyes go over there instinctively, and if we look back, like, Sheniel's no longer there. That's pretty much what happened?
Yes.
Whoa.
Domney
Wow.
is over by the door by the time Lauren comes in. So it looks like Domney's teleported as well.
I'm gonna go ahead and essentially, very subtly, and if you want me to roll it, I can essentially with a sleight of hand, pull out a couple of my darts and just have them like hidden but ready, just in case shit goes down really weird.
Okay. Yeah, you can do.
Sleight of
Do you roll it or just do it?
Give me a roll.
Oh,
Nice. Can I go ahead and roll an insight check before I act? Just to
Yeah.
determine the way.
That is 28.
Eigner's gonna take the option of just being very befuddled right now. Because that's absolutely what I am. Is befuddled.
Okay.
Give me a minute. I gotta my thing is loading, so my internet's going kind of slow.
All right. Do you want
But
to start talking in slow motion so you can catch up?
yeah, if you do that, then when my computer kind of skips, it'll slowly catch up. I was doing it. Insight. Yes. Okay, so all right. Eridu is gonna look down at his own wine and realize like it's a bit closer to the bottom than it was just a few than he thought it would have been a moment ago. And he's gonna kind of give a sidelong look at everyone else and did we just did things happen that we cannot remember? Did we lose some time?
What? Lose what?
Lose time. We look.
Why are you
Alan had
speaking
just-
nonsense?
Alan had just brought me a full glass of wine. It is no longer full. It is about half full now.
Can I look down at my own drink?
You will see that it seems that someone's stolen a couple of sips while you weren't looking.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know if there would be any spells that would do that to us?
Give me the Arcana check. You were going to insight check as well, Eridu, weren't you?
Yeah, I went ahead and asserted with my insight check that information that I just decided on.
Oh, right. Okay.
Actually,
I had a 17 in total. I figure that's probably high enough for me to recognize like there's a little bit of weird loop here.
Okay.
I hope that's all right. Tell me if I'm shouldn't be.
No,
doing-
no, not at all. That's fine.
All right.
I rolled a 10 the first time, but it bounced off another dice, and so I rolled it again because I didn't feel like that was. I felt like essentially a tilt, and then I got a 3.
You think that this was a fireball?
It's the only explanation. Clearly.
A fireball seared our brains, burned away some of our memories. Obviously,
No,
that's how this works.
As you try to concentrate, and it's strange how it's almost like engaging a different sense, like trying to close your eyes and open your eyes to control your sense of sight. It's almost like trying to control your sense of balance, this trying to sense magic around you. It's difficult, not everyone can do it, but as you try to attune, the equivalent of just loud static fills your mind.
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone else around us that is looking kind of weird, like what I feel like?
When Lauren turns her face to look around the bar, she does clock you all, but then turns back to talk to Alan, and you can tell that she similarly looks tired.
Okay.
Have I do I remember having any interaction with what's that name?
Chanel?
Shaniel?
Chanel.
I'm
Shaquille
gonna
O'Neal.
screw it up a bunch. Shaquille O'Neal. Have I ever interacted with Shaquille O'Neal before? Have I met Shaq?
Shaquille O'Neal.
You will have seen Sheniel around Twin Harbors. Sometimes even just walking into people's houses.
Okay.
But
I
you
don't
don't
remember
remember speaking to him. No.
Okay.
And you don't remember speaking to him just now either.
It's true. Well, I think. Look, it seemed that Cheniel was going to come and speak with us, and he is no longer here. Do you think that he had something important that we needed to discuss? Should we perhaps find him ourselves?
I suppose. I know nothing about this Sheniel. I don't know if he could be potentially hostile or harbor any ill will toward us. I don't know how much of a security risk it could be for us to seek him out.
I have never had any negative interactions with him before.
I don't know what to think about what just happened.
What's everyone's passive perception again, please?
Passive perception.
Yeah.
Oh, I do not know.
Everybody's passive perception?
Mine,
please.
Mine's 15.
Mine's probably on the screen there, but it's really tiny.
22.
Mine is. Where are you? Why are you not? 15.
15.
22.
22? Jeez.
Well, you get a bonus with Omni, don't you? So that's why it's so high.
No, that's my natural passive perception.
Did you take the feat?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, observant feat? Cool.
I took the observant feat. Yeah.
It's cool.
Nice.
Wow.
That is.
What was yours, Asa? Was that 12?
15.
15.
Yep.
I don't know why I've written 12. Okay, so we've
Because
got
you are
15.
bad at this game.
I am. I'm just the worst.
I know. We all know.
Okay, so all three of you spot that Lauren gave you all a signal. She pushed away from the bar, didn't look back over to you, but through a hand gesture that sort of beckoned you outside.
I'm going to look at all you and say, do you know this woman?
Yeah. I do. She can be trusted.
Okay, yeah, she beckoned us to go talk with her.
All right. It seems self-evident. Eigner will take his last of his ale and just chug it really hard, grr, let out a small burp, bleh, and then lead the way.
Eridu will take a small sip of his wine and leave it there, still half full. I mean, slightly less than half full.
Alton will just set down whatever is left and follow.
As you step outside, a strong wind blows. It sends a small empty tankard that has been left outside falling to the floor and rolling across the street. There are a few pieces of parchment caught in the wind. And you can see across the street a familiar sight. The old notice board. And upon it,
Ooh.
attached with a dagger, is a note. The only note. The only job posted on the board. And you can see the signature at the bottom has the trail guard's seal upon it in ink. It's signed Lauren.
What does it say, other than that?
You read it, and it says simply, and not addressed to anyone in particular, it just says, to meet outside the gates, Alliance side, at midnight.
Okay. Well, Eigner will, Eigner, before he does anything, he will inspect the dagger.
The dagger appears to be of halfling construction. You've seen this sort of work before. It's very sturdy, very well made, very well looked after, recently oiled. But other than that, it looks like a standard dagger.
Well, in that case, he will rip the note off and crumple it up and put it in his pocket. And then he'll look at the dagger for a little bit and take the dagger too.
Awesome. Okay. Does anyone want to do anything in town for the day, or shall we skip to the midnight?
No, I'm good.
So, hold on. If I'm thinking of this correctly, Eigner's the only one who knows Lauren.
Yes. Agner's the only one that
Okay.
knows, because he was introduced in Ace's.
Yeah,
Uh,
all the way back then. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
so Eigner, as soon as he does that whole thing with taking the note and the dagger, he'll look both ways down the street to see if there's anyone in earshot. And when he thinks that there is not anyone in earshot, he'll say to the guys, "Look, I know you don't know this person at all. And to be honest, I haven't talked to them in a long time. I have no idea what this is all about. I can't give you any assurances, but I've got a very weird feeling, and I need to find some answers. So try not to be too worried. Try to trust in me. It's going to be okay. But I get this feeling that Lauren has got some answers that we need right now."
Well, Agner, I have known you a long time, and I trust you very much. I think that you would never do anything that would put us in any real harm.
I appreciate that, Eridu.
At least not intentionally.
Not intentionally. No. Well,
I'm gonna put my faith in you as well.
excellent.
I need to go and see about trying to fill out some more forms. Hopefully I can get this deal I've been working on through by the end of the week. It is not going well. But
Sorry
I
to hear
will
that.
be back and for the meeting tonight.
Very well. Very
Okay. So, Eridu simply dealing with paperwork until the evening?
Yeah, trying to finalize the deal on the land he's been trying to get a hold of.
Okay. Give me one quick moment.
You only get one.
Hey, if someone was going to roleplay Zarkon, like Asa, would you be into that?
Mm,
If you need me to.
Yeah, I think I might just want to do like a quick little aside right now.
okay.
Okay, so Eigner, where's a good place for this? I imagine there is like a graveyard in the city or like a set of catacombs or something somewhere in Twin Harbor.
Yeah, there's bound to be.
Yeah.
No,
So
they just throw their dead in the ocean.
I mean, they might. Who knows? I don't
Um,
know.
that's a pretty decent question. Would they
Yeah.
have bare spots because of the reduced land they have access to, or would they do the whole like put them on a ship and send them out to the ocean thing?
Hmm.
Mm,
Well, let's say that maybe there's a little both. Like certain classes of people would get this kind of treatment with being buried over here,
Ooh,
and certain classes of people would get the different treatment of getting buried at sea,
what
whichever way
if
it
what
falls.
if they? Do you need corpses? Is that the point, or
No,
do you
I
need?
don't need corpses. I just thought it would be like a really dramatic place to, have like this conversation.
If there is like a wall, like the Wailing Wall, where they inscribe the names of the dead,
Oh, cool.
or like obelisks, like family obelisks, in which like the names of the dead are inscribed on to memorialize them.
Mm-hmm.
let's have that in a patch of town green opposite the temple that Emily built.
There you go.
Cool. That's fitting.
Digging it.
Oh yeah, that would be probably something to that she would have, being that Anesti is the goddess of death.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So that would be something that she would have access to, or
yeah.
would know what to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
All
All
right.
right.
So Agner finds the spot. He knows it well. He comes here often to look upon the names that are inscribed. He remembers fondly some of the names on this wall. Even Shalax is written up there, and there's a lot of memories that come back. He comes here oftentimes just to think. He comes to pay respects. He comes here when he just wants to be alone. But for
In in recent in recent the last few weeks, bards have been visiting this area,
mm,
and they've been taking rubbings of Shalax's name, and
mm,
you've heard them putting together lines of a song of songs and stories.
oh man, that's awesome. So hopefully there are no bards here at this time because Egner has come to have a serious conversation. As
I've done the only asserting of my DM powers that I'm going to do right now, so that's up to Drew.
no, we gotta memorialize Shalax, of course, of course. So as soon as he gets to the wall, Egner will hold the ring up, and he won't even look directly at the ring, but he'll hold it up, you know, to address it, and he'll say, "Zarkon, I know you're in there. You've been quiet for a while, and that worries me."
Um, Drew, is there any way you want me to handle this?
No, there's nothing Zarkon's aware of that hasn't already transpired from Eigner's perspective.
Okay. Uh, standing like leaning against the one of the obelisks is a dark figure. You can make out now the hair is starting to take on a little bit of coloration. It's a little bit of a pale gray in the shadowy figure that is Zarkon. Uh, and his eyes are beginning to take shape. You can see the whites of them. The coloration is purple, um, and he sets them on you and says, You seem like you're having such a good time. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, that's right. You always choose the worst points to interrupt. Always.
Now, that's a bit unfair. We've only had a few discussions, you and I.
Yeah, but every time we do, you scare the living hells out of me.
I don't see why. I'm here to be your friend, your companion. Why do you continue to assume that I mean the worst for you?
I don't know. Maybe it's the shadowy, dark, evil drow thing that you have going on. It's not a good look.
I mean, my people have a reputation, and when you are but a spirit, you can't take full form. I can't control how I look.
Fair, fair. Look, I wanted to make this brief. If you could just keep quiet for a little while longer, I'd really appreciate that.
Hmm. And what benefit would that be to me?
I don't know. Look, do you want me to go drop this ring in the harbor or what?
Do you want to be a half spider person? I've seen you searching. You're not going to do that.
You don't know me. You don't know what I'm going to do.
I do know you have been trying to commune with some sort of spirit of spiders. I can help you with that. Get rid of this ring. You will always be in your form and you'll never have the answers that you want. There's a reason you chose to bind yourself to me, Eigner. And it wasn't just to save people from my perceived threat.
You creep me out so much. And just because I'm searching for answers doesn't mean that I want to sell my soul.
What would I do with your soul? People's lives after they die are of no value to me, or that's the domain of gods and demons.
Hmm.
I don't want your soul, Agner. I want you as an ally. I want you as a friend. That's all I've asked. And so far, I think we've gotten along quite well.
No major catastrophes yet.
No. Would there be? That's not my intention.
All I know, okay, I don't know anything, but I've got a weird feeling about whatever was going to come up, and I can't have you interfering with anything that happens where I need to put myself on the line to save my friends. You cannot interfere with that. I won't have that.
Are you concerned that I would allow your friends to come to risk?
I I don't know what you will do. I mean, I don't even know you. You're an ancient drow king from whatever bygone generation.
And an ancient king, or a recent king, all kings need subjects. All kings need those close to them that they can trust. All kings need counsel. You and your friends have provided me with very good counsel. I have no interest in seeing you harmed, or your companions. And as a king, it is my duty to protect. I will protect my subjects.
Hmm.
You need not fear me, Agner. There is nothing to fear.
You are certainly full of yourself.
There is a certain type of personality that allows themselves to become a king.
I see.
Sorry,
It's okay.
taken on smoking recently.
That's why you got that aura around you, huh?
It's true.
Um,
The black fumes of cancerous death.
well, Zarkon, I'm I'm glad we understand each other.
I wish you understood me better. In time, perhaps we can.
We'll see. And at that, Eigner will walk away from Zarkon, but
He'll
Zarkon's still
follow
with him.
behind a few steps, but then when you turn to look back, he's gone.
Meanwhile, Alton, before this meeting at midnight, you are approached by a rat.
Okay.
It has been following you for a little while now, and keeps standing up in front of you.
I forget, was Alton a part of that whole...
Yep, episode
okay.
3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Alton, then I will like duck into an alley and like behind some stuff. So if there's like a stack of boxes or some such nonsense, like basically like a point where like not only am I like in an area where people won't look, I'm in an area where even if they were looking, they would not, like they wouldn't be able to see.
You jump behind a bunch of boxes that have a massive ink stamp on them, like something's been stencil painted on, and it says South Eridu Shipping Company. As you duck behind these crates, the rat then transforms. Transmorphers.
Transmorph.
Yeah. And as the rat transforms, it takes on the form of Bredis, the druid from underground.
Hell yeah, Bredis.
Yeah, okay. I am obviously not surprised considering the fact that a little rat's following me and kept on sitting up.
She looks around over your shoulder, over the crates, making sure that no one goes by, and a couple of people do, in fact, walk by the edge of the alley. Then when she's certain that there's no one going to disturb you, she then leans in close to you. How have you been keeping, Alton?
Well, why?
I have some concerns. Your companions and yourself were useful. I've been disturbed by some changes. I have begun questioning some things. Your rather odd companion is the green one.
Okay.
He questioned a few things that caused me to question too. And since then, things have not been going well for me. I am asking for your help.
Okay.
There's a bit of a coup happening. I need a show of force. I know that you and your friends are simply escorts for transportation, transported goods, and you are not warriors. But I do have need of the skills that you demonstrated when the Sapphire Dream Sufferers broke in last time. I need to show that not only am I not weak in leadership, but that I can bolster our forces with allies if need be.
Oh, what are you looking for?
Ideally, I just need as many people as you can get together to accompany me at a meeting that is coming up. Worst case scenario, you should have need of drawing your weapons. A show of force, but no blood should be shed.
I mean, a lot of people's not necessarily, like, maybe, like, me is not the person that you should have been talking to about gathering a lot of people. The other one, the tall elf one, he's for sure the one that you should have been talking to.
Yes. The not green one. Is that the one?
The not green one, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I do like Eridu. He's a good man.
Yeah.
Yes. I've spent too much time up here already. I must go. But I will seek you out. I will find you. And I will speak to Eridu when next we meet. Please, if you could put in a good word. I must go. She transforms back down into a rat and scurries off.
Okay.
It is as she's scurrying off that you notice that one of the crates is slightly open. And inside are rolls of parchment.
Okay, I'm gonna grab one if they're at an appropriate level for a tiny person.
You can easily reach in and get one. They're all tied up with string, but it seems like a knot that you could easily retie.
I'll grab one of my darts out and I'll just cut the string.
You cut the string, unfurl the scroll, and you see that these are posters that appear to have been made. En masse. There are a lot of these posters that have been made. This is the kind of thing that you've seen in the Silent Sea, but not something that you've seen widespread elsewhere. A sort of press that allows you to print several things at once.
Right.
It's a poster portraying someone's portrait of Oren Vitrell. You recognize him as the Guild Council leader of Twin Harbors. He was someone who months and months ago was making a big deal about Sapphire Dream and the blight that it was on Twin Harbors. He was, as you remember, it was getting people into a bit of a frenzy by torchlight.
Mm-hmm.
This is a poster portraying his face and stating that your leader has it in hand.
That's never good. And I say that like out loud. Like I literally say that out loud. Just that's never good.
That's no good. Oh, this is great. I'm loving this right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take the poster and yeah, I'm just gonna grab my sunlight sword and just like flip it on and just burn the box.
Nice.
And then like once the fire started, just like turn it back off and like kind of reattach it to where it goes, and then just kind of walk away before the fire like becomes obvious.
Cool.
And taking the one poster that I have.
As you come out the alleyway, a few other people are walking towards you, but it looks like a couple arm in arm. They walk past and don't notice. The fire hasn't taken hold as much yet. So you're confident that you'll be able to get far from here before anyone notices.
Right.
These boxes look like they're going to go up. We'll cut now to the midnight meeting. So you guys are out in, I said Alliance side. I want to clarify, I was intending Free Kingdoms side.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Oh,
Yeah.
the so thinly hid veil between Horde and Alliance has been subverted. Now everyone knows exactly what we're at.
So yes, the side that Lauren would guard.
Yeah.
So you get out there, and you notice a few copses of trees dotted around the place, and stood underneath one of those trees, holding a candle in a candle holder, is a short, hooded figure.
Alright, so I will take point since I'm the one that actually knows Lauren, and I will look back at my companions and make sure that they are close behind. And I will also do a quick little perception check just to scan for any other unexpected things around. So that'll be a 17 perception.
You have disadvantage because it is dark.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that, huh? Well, that is a 2. So I went from 17 to 7.
You have a look around. You don't see anything dangerous at all. You have been hearing over the last few months that rumors of huge beasts rampaging on the other side of Twin Harbors have been picking up, which could be attributed to giants or their kin. Possibly not. But on this side of things have been
Perhaps trolls?
Perhaps.
trolls.
Sure, there's no foreshadowing of, or not foreshadowing, but things that have happened in the past. That's
reference. Yes.
That's the one.
Well,
Yeah.
You make no reference.
so in that case, I will attempt to keep an eye out, but for the moment, decide that we are safe. And as we get close enough, I will say, Lauren, that's you, right?
She lifts her head and lowers her hood. You see that she is in her full armor, and she nods, beckons you closer towards the trees, and she steps in between them and blows out her candle.
Oh, okay. All right. So we get closer, and I'll say, very quickly, let me introduce you to Alton and Eridu. You can't see them, but they're here.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and pull out, I'm going to step forward and pull out my sunlight blade and turn it on because it does create light.
She quickly waves that down. And goes, shh! Turn that off!
Click.
Greetings, Lauren. You are a member of the Trail Guard, I see.
Yes.
How did you come to know Alton here? Eigner. Different person.
Tell
Is
themselves.
this not on?
What?
He changed colors before. I assumed he changed face now.
Oh no, that's Eridu. It's on is not here at the moment. I'm afraid.
You also know On.
Yes,
I am very much not On.
On and I took a job for the Trail Guard a while ago.
Oh. Well, this would make sense.
Yes. Lauren, how is it that we may help you?
How disappointed is she that I'm not On?
Kind of disappointed.
Insight jerk.
The most disappointed.
There needs to be someone who's not in love with Eridu.
Right?
But you do detect a hint of disappointment. But she soldiers on regardless. Her face is business. You may have heard about caravans being diverted, going missing. I was tasked with trying to find out how, why, where were they going. I found something, and I need backup. But every time I bring this up to my superiors, it gets shot down.
Hmm.
There seems to be a settlement, for lack of a better word, some construct of buildings, wooden beams, over by the coast. It's on top of the cliff edge. I'm beginning to wonder that something a bit more than simple piracy is at hand.
Someone's building something
Where,
on the cliffs.
where by the cliff edge? I mean, I had looked at land in that area, and everything that I'd come across was immediately unavailable to me.
It's about a league over from Twin Harbors. It's quite a distance.
It may well be one of the places I looked at, but I don't. Well, I tried to look at. They wouldn't let me over there at all. It was. Go on, settlement. I'm listening.
Sorry, I just saw the chat building a cliffhanger. Right.
You know us.
Our chat's not funny.
So.
Our chat is super serious.
Yeah, it is. So, Lauren, the reason for the secrecy right now is you're concerned that other trail guard will hear you talking about this?
I fear that Twin Harbors is doing something. That there have been movements inland. There have been large groups of people moving to and fro. There is an entire village that is now empty of all but the women and children. There have been a lot of requests. Posters are being put up. Orders from Elysium. Orders, not requests.
Orders for what?
Just that everyone able-bodied report to the capital city.
Huh.
It's
Mobilization.
strange. The thing that bothers me most is that it does seem to be mostly the men. The women, if they have children, are left to fend for the families themselves. Some of these people I know, many are old, infirm, that they can't tend to the farmers' fields. There's a lot of damage going on, but no one seems to be speaking of it or doing much about it. I need help, just to find out what's happening on the coast. I just need something to be able to take to my superiors, something to get action happening.
How are you so confident? I mean, you just told me that whenever you bring up this idea to your superiors, they shoot it down. If you come to them with some kind of evidence that countermands or contradicts or whatever it is that they actually have going on, do you think that actually could turn out badly for you?
Possibly, but I
what
can't
if you're-
stand by while everything starts crumbling about me. Everything's just feeling off. Something's wrong.
I couldn't agree more.
Yes,
Will you help?
I would like to help. There is a lot changing recently, and it is unsettling.
Alton, how do you feel?
I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys, but there are many things that are requiring our attention at the moment. There is that troublesome guy that is seeming to raise a disturbing following, and I hand the flyer to, or the poster, to Eridu. And there is that rat lady. I very much, by the way, as a player, this is a Alton thing, not a player thing.
Breedis has reached out to you. Oh. How
yeah,
is she
has. She's concerned about maintaining control over. I'm assuming she actually never said it outright, but my assumption is that she's concerned with maintaining control over her, over her druidic circle, and I worry that leaving here right now is dangerous. However, I also feel that this mission, and pointing to, nope, now player lost a name.
Lauren.
Lauren, thank you. Her mission, Lauren's mission, is equally important. So we need to approach our choices with all of the knowledge.
Well, I do know the druids have been in a state of unrest for a while. It is something that I have been battling. It seems that they can't all agree on exactly how they should be handling the things that their sect teaches them to value. Something along those lines. It is all very much in their domain, not mine. And there's still a very predominant sapphire dream problem in the Twin Harbors. And what seems to be, still unrest and racial discrimination towards dwarves due to the assassination, and all these things they're leading to a place that I do not want my world to be in.
It's a powder keg.
Yes.
I have to agree. I would say maybe not necessarily a powder keg, but a series of small kind of explosives that anyone could set off the others and create a larger explosion than any of us could anticipate.
So how
Multiple small, like, kegs of powder.
Well, in all fairness, we don't have that yet. So that's
True.
why,
That's a good point. Yeah.
that's why I stayed away from that analogy. Otherwise, it would have been far easier.
Yeah. Powder kegs.
yes.
One of these
It
old
is-
dragons.
Right.
It is as though someone were to cast a missile of magic, followed by another missile of magic, followed by another missile of magic. Each of these tiny points of force creating a divot on every single facet of life until it all crumbles.
Very deep, very deep. So, serious face.
Game face.
Game face. Psh. So, we need to neutralize this. And what could possibly be the best way? I mean nothing against this Breedis person, but can helping them out really do anything helpful at large for Twin Harbor?
My concern is not so much if it is helpful, or even if it's time consuming. The help that she wants is simply, as she states, a night of aid. The concern that I have is whether or not that triggers our first explosion. Even if we're successful in diffusing a situation of stopping that, does that not just stop the boiling from happening for right now? And if we leave to help Lauren, which sounds like a high priority, if that does not become a larger problem while we're away. And I'm not sure if leaving Bredis is just as equally. I don't know if leaving her to her own devices is a good idea either, because it's very rare that a coup brings about better change.
Should we perhaps not discuss this in greater detail in another place? I mean, no offense, Lauren, but we probably should deliberate in a different, without you present, as it is an internal matter right now as far as how we're going to act. And also, we're here in the middle of the street. Well, not street, but
We're in the trees.
middle of nowhere. Maybe we should discuss this somewhere else.
I apologize for the subterfuge, I suppose, on my part. I was hoping for an enthusiastic response, and we would travel overnight there and return in the morning. I was hoping, perhaps I hoped a little too much. You're right, Eridu, you are. I was also hoping to avoid being spotted by people within the town. I will book myself into a room. I'll give you the name of the inn when I find it, and I will await your decision there. Just get a message to me.
Well, if we leave tonight, when did Brutus want us to meet us? When did Brutus want us to meet the druids? Did you talk about that yet? Sorry, out of character. Did I just use player knowledge?
Out of character, no definite time has been given. Just a breeding.
Oh, yeah.
She said coming up soon.
I was asking if Josh actually told us she wanted us to meet.
No, because I didn't get that information. I didn't pass it along because I didn't get that information. But my assumption is, as a character, my assumption was within like a couple of days. Because you don't say, "Oh, hey, I need your help," and then you mean 2 months from now, unless you
also
say,
don't say, "Hey, I need your help. Let's go right now."
True, but that's why I figure like in a day or two.
If we can resolve this issue on the coast by the morning, perhaps we will be here for the druids in the next few days.
Possibly. But what of this other fellow? This fanatic. I fear the worst for this city.
Vitrell? Look, I've spent enough time in this city to know that the doings of politicians are above and beyond our control.
They're also very slow moving. What can Viren Vitrell you do tonight that we could have any say?
The thing is with fanatics is that the mob is all powerful, and I am concerned with a simple act of emotional incitement turning into something bad, because this is not like I put to the poster, this is to me clearly not the workings of political game. This is
No, this
the
is pure
workings
propaganda.
of, yes, this is the workings of a man who wants to disrupt politics, not join them.
And he will find himself pitted up against Garth, which I do not feel to be a bad thing. Those two will keep each other busy for quite some time, and maybe, if they have themselves preoccupied with one another, we can help out with both these situations before they ever become a problem that we have an opportunity to deal with.
I think I agree with Eridu. Whoever this Vitrell is, he can't be our concern right now.
Well, I'll go with the group. I worry greatly, but I'll go with the group.
As do I. This is pure propaganda, and it is quite unsettling.
It's a disturbing new age for Twin Harbor. None of us are trying to dispute that, Alton.
Mm-hmm. You've come across whole. You said whole crates with these.
One.
One.
It was large and it was clearly ready for distribution. I slowed it down by kind of removing that crate from the scene. But
Just for clarification, my intention was for it to be multiple crates stacked up to give you ample cover, and so that was the posters in one of the crates.
Right.
Right, but I mean like I'm assuming that, like, at least as a character or a player, depending on how you look at it, I'm assuming that, like, that wasn't all of the posters. Like, I'm sure that they have them.
I mean, you only
that was just one cache.
One, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so that was, to me, at least as Alton, was not a dent. It was just an action of disgust, not he's not stopping this
right.
with one little fire.
Oh.
Well,
yes, this place is becoming a quagmire of concern. Okay, let's consider it from a different perspective. Lauren, you're still here, right?
Yes. I'm still here. I haven't been dismissed yet.
you're so very small. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go to the end yet or not. I got you confused with Alton and Dominic. I clearly cannot tell halflings apart from wolves.
Yes.
Eridu's lack of perception aside, do you feel that this place is a place where people are being taken against their will?
It's not something that I think that is going on. My concern is that a lot of the trade caravans that go missing along these routes are being diverted south, as a few of them have taken more southerly routes than they usually do anyway. And that something's happening there. A pirate cove being set up. It seems bigger than that. I don't know what's happening. Perhaps a new settlement being established, maybe? I don't know.
And the people you have said that are going missing, that is a concern. That is the thing I want to know about.
That's something else, yes. It might very well be that these people are being sent to this construction on the coast.
Eigner, how did we ever get wound up in political struggles and turmoils?
it beats me, Eridu. The whole time I thought we were just trying to make a few coin here and there. Have enough money for a drink at the Cornerstone.
I mean, I could very well have retired any sense of adventuring after the attack entire mission that we did, and yet it seems that I continue to find myself in a place where I am called upon to make action that leads the Twin Harbors political structure in some way or another, and yet, oh, without Akram, we are not people of political importance.
Is the greatest irony. He would have been
Is
perfectly
not
suited.
Emily then a good political force to at the very least stem the tide while we are gone?
She seems to have some pull and a sort of a organization, an underground rebellion, if you will, that has no love for Garth. Uh, I do not know how she will take to uh, Vitrell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Vitrell's. What if she finds him a person to rally behind? That is concerning as well.
Hmm.
Because I know she doesn't like Garth, and if she were to fight against him, the Vitrell would be a powerful ally. And yet he is printing clear propaganda because he is not a ruler. He is one of the guild masters.
I don't think the I know that you big folk love the saying of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I find that not to be the truth.
No, indeed, it is not.
Yes.
I would pit two enemies against each other and not be friends with either.
Yes. So I will say I would feel more comfortable leaving and leaving having talked to Emily for a few minutes to ask her to look after these issues until we come back.
I think I would like to speak with Brutus as well and understand what she is asking from us before I make a decision. I do not want to leave the druids high and dry. No offense to your concerns, Lauren, but I have been working the last few months to try to secure a place for the druids in this world and try to keep them from the plan that they've been wanting to enact because I believe it causes more damage than good. I would hate to leave them in a situation where they then lose sight of what I've been trying to help them with and make decisions of emotional irrationality that damage the very fabric of how we hold our worlds together.
I understand. In that case, go see to your friend. See what help they require. It seems that they perhaps are in a bit more of an urgent situation. I I will wait here for the next week, and I will each night come out here. If at any point you wish to come and help me with my investigation, I will be here. If after a week I do not meet you again, then I will go on my own, dangerous as it may be.
I don't think that if we are able to push forward with our current plan, I don't think a week will be necessary. I think perhaps tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, if we can just have somebody to help. What's what I'm looking for?
Breedus.
No, when you clip the plants. Prune. To prune the situation. If we have someone to prune the situation, then I do believe I will feel very comfortable leaving it behind for some time.
Yes, we cannot take all responsibilities of all actions on ourselves. It's just not. It's not realistic.
No. So tomorrow is morning or afternoon is all we need.
She agrees, and will meet you out here when you do that. I'm assuming returning to the town and getting some sleep,
Yep.
some rest. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knowingly wanted to meet at midnight.
Yeah.
I would like to go find Brutus before I sleep, as my sleep is only 4 hours.
But
Okay.
you still need a night's rest. You just don't need, like, just by raw. I don't care what you guys. I mean, it's whatever. But like by raw, you still have to do the other 4 hours of light activity.
But what we will do is handle the interaction with Breedus after the break.
After the break.
True.
Eridu is going to do some very light push-ups for 4 hours. Just very light. little push-ups. Unexhausting.
Yeah.
Start at 1,000. It makes you feel great.
That's how it works. Well, sweet. So, yeah, check back in with us in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll continue with the second half of this first session of this 6th episode of Volohin, Winds of War.